Welcome, everyone. It is 7 o'clock Tuesday night. Now, granted, if you're watching on YouTube, it could be whatever time you want it to be, or in fact is. Welcome to D7 Toastmasters Pathways Virtual Academy. I'm your guide, James. Tonight, we have another session, and specifically, we have new material. I have new material that I'm going to share because it's new to me. I am not a VPE or president or secretary of any of my clubs. And even though I'm a Pathways guide, I have not had any access to Basecamp Manager until the last week. Now, in a partnership with the VPE of my club, he has helped me out get some access to it so that I can provide some additional training and make a video about it. So tonight, that's what the primary focus is Basecamp Manager and how to deal with it, because it is its own interesting little world within Pathways, which is wonderful. So let's get started. Let's switch over to live shot here of Toastmasters International. I am not using my login because I don't have permissions. I am with permission using the VPE of my club's login. He's currently off camera somewhere. And without too much further ado, the primary way to get into Basecamp is the same as how you get to your path. Access your path through Basecamp. And now, instead of there only being one button for me to choose, which is log in as member, there's also the Basecamp Manager, that option. And this, every president, secretary, and VPE of the club has this option. So there are 3 people in the club, and only those 3. Toastmasters has been asked about giving access to other people, and their consistent response is no. We've given it to those 3 officers, and that's where we're going to leave it for now. So those 3 officers have access to Basecamp Manager. Let's click on Basecamp Manager. And this shows us the front page of Basecamp Manager, kind of similar to the Basecamp itself. We have the friendly blue buttons. Instead of 5 of them, we only have 3. And we don't have the pictures. We've got the pending requests, member progress, and manager tutorials. They're pretty self-explanatory in that aspect. And I encourage anybody who is a Basecamp manager to spend time in the manager tutorials, because this will answer a lot of the not so clear questions, especially in navigation. And we know that there have been, how should we say, challenges with navigating the user interface inside of Pathways. I'm going to look at the pending requests first. We're going to start left to middle, pretty much. Pending requests. Now, this particular club that we've got going, thankfully, we have somebody with a pending request. The interesting bit about this is that this member, when she started into Pathways, went into level 1, went through the first project, read everything, took the test, clicked out of it, went to the second project, to the third project, and got all the way to level completion and clicked the mark complete in just one sitting, because she just wanted to see what the projects were. So Pathways sent a level completion email to the VPE, even though the member hadn't scheduled or done any speeches. Now, this kind of freaked out the VPs, like, wait a minute, are you a member of another club? How did you get all of this done? Well, it turns out that that's what happened, is that she went in and was reading everything and responding to everything and just kept clicking. So this is how a level request shows up in Basecamp Manager. You have the individual's name, the club, their position, as well as the level that they are requesting completion on. Now, on the right-hand side, I got to move everybody's pictures here. I'm going to shift you down. Under options, you have 2 options, the green check mark and the red cross hatch. It seems pretty clear, though they do have little pop-up windows. You hover over the green check mark, it says approve, and you hover over the red one, it says deny. So that is the simplest explanation for how to approve or deny a level completion request inside of Pathways. And simply put, those level completion requests have their own button, very easy to get to. So once you receive that email that says a member in your club has completed a level, please go into Basecamp Manager and approve so that they can move on. Come right in here, click the level completion requests, observe the person, make sure that they actually, kind of possibly did the speeches. You could ask them, or if you're a member of the club, maybe you've seen them. Then you click the approval and it moves on from there. Now, we actually have other hyperlinks here. You can get a printable version of this page, which gives you the same information in just a print, a level completion request print. Not quite sure why that would be helpful, but for record keeping, if you wanted to keep a copy of the level completion request, you could do that and print it out. You also have the ability to export level completion to Excel, especially if you are tracking club progress in an Excel spreadsheet or another format. That could be very helpful. There's also a hyperlink directly on the member's name. Now, this allows the VPE to come into the member's educational transcript and see what she is working on. That's by clicking on that. You can open the curriculum, be able to see that, yes, indeed, motivational strategies. You see here level 1, 71, 75%, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So this gives the VPE some access to see where the member is working inside of their own educational transcript. You can see here's the member's name, the educational transcript, and the path that they're on. I haven't dug too deeply into this stuff here because I don't know if I'm going to find her entire folder of cat photos or not. But we've got level 1. Let's look at view details. So here it shows you level 1. All of those are marked complete, and this is the kind of the backdoor verification. The system itself generated the email, and this is a way to verify, all those projects are essentially done. Now, if we want to switch back, I'm going to click on the home. That should take us, yes, it does, takes us right back to Basecamp Manager and out of the member's educational transcript. So that's the pending requests. Do we have any questions on pending requests? Let's start there. Yes, Mary, I see your hand up, but you're muted. There you go.
Maybe you don't want to get into it now, but we had an instance too. So you can actually go through that and not have completed it, but TI thinks you did, and that's kind of strange.
Well,
we had that happen to somebody. They were doing that assessment,
right?
And went on and did the assessment. They had to call TI to get, because they couldn't get back into it, and they weren't finished.
Interesting.
So there was that. So they called TI, and I don't know, they waved a magic wand or something. I'm not sure how they did it, but she was able to get back in.
Yeah, on the assessment, that would be slightly different. I know that TI has said that if a member goes through and completes a project without having completed the speech, then they can simply just schedule the speech with their VPE, and then when they're ready, move on to the next project. From what I know, there is no way to remove those little red check marks once they're in there. And it's primarily an indication that the individual has gone through the online interactive aspect of the project and not necessarily that they have given their speech. Because for those of you who have watched several of these videos, I have gone through several projects, received the red check mark in the session to show how it's gotten, and I haven't given a speech. So it is possible. I just encourage whoever it is to just, stop, do the speeches in the club, and then move on to the next. Does that answer your question, Mary?
Yeah, it's not incumbent upon the VPE necessarily, because depending on the size of your club, to really be able to track what everybody's doing. I mean,
right.
I used to be able to, but it's really seems to be difficult, I find, to do that with Pathways. So I know our club just said, well, we're all adults, so hopefully you're not there just to flip through the program. If you are, it's to your disadvantage, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could go through an entire, if you had a VPE or a president or a secretary who was in your pocket, you could go through an entire level without having given a speech just by clicking through each project and marking them off. Now, number one, that doesn't get you anything,
Oh.
because the whole experience of Pathways and Toastmasters is using the information and then communicating better, or being a better leader, collaborating, working with people. So clicking through online curriculum, it means you're good with a mouse. But I also encourage VPEs to don't be a police force. If this VPE, when he went to the member, if she said, oh yeah, I've completed all those, I'm a member of another club, hey, that would be good enough for me. And that's simply what he's done, because I'm a member of 3 clubs. When I send in my level completion requests, he says, hey, did you do them? I say, yeah, I did them. It's okay. And then he approves them. So it's this a balance between being paying attention and not being the police, I guess, would be kind of that balance. And every club really just needs to look for where they want to be. Any other questions on pending requests? Fantastic. Let's move to member progress. Now, this is where it can actually get kind of interesting as far as being able to see how many paths and what members are working within a club. Okay, member progress, and I am going to shrink my screen down just a little bit here. So the first tab on the left-hand side, individual progress. I've clicked on that, and I'm letting it refresh real quickly here. What you get are 5 individual windows, 1 for each level. Inside of each of those windows, if you don't see anything when you first log in, look here to the little direction bar. To see all members, number 1, select options and refresh. Now the options and the refresh is in the right-hand corner here. So you click the down arrow and click the refresh. When you do that, this can take anywhere between 30 seconds, and I had at one point, it took about 2 minutes to do a full refresh, because it's going to Toastmasters, looking through all the curriculum, making sure, gathering all the information and then presenting it. As you can see, each one of these windows has a little spinning status bar on them. Now, I don't anticipate anything in these windows to change because I refreshed these just a little bit ago. So we can continue talking. Level 1 is going to be your most populous window, because that is right now and probably continuously going to be where most people are, because they start Pathways in level 1, the icebreaker, and all the other projects that happen there. Down the left-hand side, you have a listing of every single path that someone in your club has either registered or started. Now, there's a difference between those, and we'll get to that. So as you can see here, there are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are only 8 paths listed, which means in this club, in my club, there are still 2 paths out there that no one has registered for or is working on. And yep, I'm clicking in the window to see if I can scroll to make sure, and it just moves the whole thing. So there's only 8 paths that people in the club are active. Across the bottom is a numerical counter, simply telling you how many members are involved in each of those paths. So at a glance, it's very easy to see that innovative planning and presentation mastery are the 2 most popular paths in this club. Innovative planning with 7 members either registered or working on, and presentation mastery with 6. This is where it gets kind of interesting, because you can hover over this blue bar and get further information. So let's click on innovative planning. Actually, no. I take that back. You got to go up to the little down arrow here and click on the view details. So there's the first, oops, view details. Once you click on the view details, then you get the detailed information that I was referring to. Again, at the top of the screen, you have all the paths. You've got a further listing of numbers of members involved. Now, this is what I love, because instead of whole numbers, we are now moving by decimals. I would really be intrigued to see if we had like 2.2 members involved in a path or something, because, wow, then we'd have like 0.2 of a member. I'm not quite sure how that would happen, but it's interesting how you have a decimal splitting when you have only whole numbered peoples in a club. I guess this is how we get to what the mother, father, and 2.5 kids per family. Well, at some point in Pathways, we will have 2.5 members working on a path. Then you have a box on the left here that essentially tells you what you're looking at. The report was generated by the club number, the time it was generated, the count of 23 individual paths registered or started, the record count limit. Now, apparently you can go to 5,000, so we've got some room on that, which is good. And then all of the filters that are currently in play. These, you're not really going to need to know any of this stuff. It's just there. It's kind of looking in the back window to see. Then you have the listing underneath that. You can see all of the members and their names, like Innovative Planning, we looked at 7 members. Down here, all 7 members are listed. So you know exactly which members in the club are working on what path. Over here, remember I said in progress and registered? Transcript status is the column where that shows up. In progress means that a member is actively working in the path. That simply means that they have opened at least one project, the icebreaker, and started to go through the curriculum. Registered simply means that they have purchased the path. They have not opened it. They probably haven't even logged in. That they may have logged into Basecamp, but they have not opened their curriculum at all. This is helpful because you can see we've got 2 people that have registered for a path but haven't done anything with it. So if you look and see that that particular person has registered for a path and they're still giving speeches or they're not giving speeches, then it's simply, I'd go to them and say, hey, do you have some questions about Pathways? Can I help you get into it? And it may be that they just don't know how to interact with the material. So this gives you that option of saying, okay, I'll talk to this member and see if they're a new member, then I definitely want to make sure that they're working in Pathways and know how to have access to it. And if they're a legacy member, then maybe they're finishing up some other manuals. But this gives you an idea of who to check with, as well as everybody in the club that's working a path. And hopefully that lines up with people you're scheduling as well. Now, the user count, it's giving an individual user ID number, probably for sorting purposes in their own database. So this is your primary list of who's doing what in that level. Yes, Nina, I see a hand. That must be a question.
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay. If someone is doing presentation mastery and they want to do a second path, do we charge them another $20 or is it all under the dues paid for the year?
Well, you don't have to worry about charging them at all because Toastmasters will take care of that. The only way to initialize a new path is by purchasing it through Toastmasters online at their website. Now, it used to be that we could sell manuals in the club. You know, the club buys a bunch of competent communicators and simply sells them. With this pathway system, the club is completely outside of selling paths. I haven't found any way that a club could pre-purchase paths and then give them to members because they're tied to their login. So I hope that answers your question.
It does. Thank you.
Sure.
For those of us who were members of more than one club when Pathways rolled out, we are eligible for a second path.
Absolutely.
But you need to actually call TI to arrange that.
Right.
So those of you who are members of more than one club when it rolled out in September, keep that in mind.
Yes, you can get your first path for free by taking the assessment. The second path, you either call Toastmasters or I simply sent them an email asking them to activate this particular, I think it was Innovative Planning for my second path because I was a member of multiple clubs. They responded, okay, we've done that. Thank you. So you can call them or you can send an email if you were a member in multiple. But anything beyond that, the member has to pay $20 or $45 if they're going with manuals directly through Toastmasters. That answer the question for you, Nina?
It did. Thank you very much.
Good. Any other questions or comments so far? Yes, Mary.
On that same subject, did you say that at the time of rollout, if they're a member of more than one club, they get one level for free, they can get a second. Could they only get a second? They can't get one for each club?
Right. Only a maximum of 2.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And there's an additional thing too.
Yeah, what's that, Larry?
When they originally sign up for Pathways, that's the only one they get on the house. The rest you purchase $20
Yep.
per track.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. And the free path, you can't get that free with manuals. You would still be paying the additional $25 if you went with manuals. So you get the electronic path, the $20, that's the free path.
Yeah. Now another
Yeah, go ahead for it.
question. Let's assume you're renewing. Let's assume you're renewing. And when we renew, some people are going to believe they're going to get a path for $20. But that's not the case, is it?
If they renew, they pay their 50, their 40 something, and then the club dues on top of that. Then if they go to Toastmasters International and pay an additional $20, they can have a path. Yes. But no, there is no free path given for renewals. That is simply membership dues.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Now, let's get back to level 1 in progress. The first time I came in here, I was trying to find a back button or some way to get out of this screen. Well, it simply is a pop-up window. So all you have to do is close the entire window and it puts you back inside of Basecamp Manager. Now, each window works the same way. So level 2, you have the exact same view details option, which then spits out a report of the, man, now we're getting to like decimal places of a member. At some point, we could have 0.1 members available. Anyway, okay. I work with structural steel and numbers, so they mean a lot more to me than some people. Anyway, so you have one whole member working in each path, and they are huge members. They go all the way across the screen. That must be me. I'm a big person. So what you have is the breakdown. Hey, look, it is me right there. James, yes, see, that's me. I'm huge. Anyway, I am working currently, strategic relationships is level 2. Now, although I haven't opened any projects inside of level 2, I've simply completed level 1 of strategic relationships. So once the system generates that email and the VPE marks it off, I am considered working in progress on level 2 because I now have access to it. Even though I haven't opened any of those projects, it still considers me in progress because I've completed level 1 and I'm moving forward. Now, you may notice that these other windows are empty. The first time I came in here, this kind of caused me a little consternation because I am also working level 5 of presentation mastery. But as you can see, the level 5 window is completely blank. And in fact, everything above level 2 is blank. So I was trying to figure out why that was. And then my first thought, bug in the system, something's not being tracked right. I'll probably have to send an email to Toastmasters about it. But after doing a little bit of research, I discovered that the reason why I don't show up in this club working level 5 is because I gave level 1 and level 2 to this club in presentation mastery, but my level 3 and my level 4 completions were given to a different club. So my theory, and I haven't been able to check this because I don't have access to Basecamp Manager in that other club. I do have a request to the VPE right now, is that in that club, I will show up as working in level 5. Now, it's kind of an interesting thing because we were told that we could give our completed levels to any of our clubs if we were a multiple member. And this kind of throws a little bit of a, well, a shoe in the gears, you might say, because even though I'm working level 5, it's not going to show up here, which means that the other levels that I give to different clubs, the VPEs, aren't going to have access to seeing in the same way that they can see members that work entirely in one club, what their progress looks like, which is intriguing. So I'm not sure exactly how that'll work out, but that is apparently what it looks like so far. And I'll throw this open. For those of you who are familiar with Basecamp Manager, have you heard anything along those lines? Okay, I'm seeing a couple of head shakes there. That's good enough for me. I'll research it a little bit more because I'm always interested in how things are tracking. So let's move on to path progress on the left-hand side. And you can see paths in progress. It's giving us that same breakdown. This is giving us that breakdown of registered and in progress as well. So you can see those listed here. It doesn't give you the names like it did on that spreadsheet. And if you want to know, okay, who's registered for this and who's registered for that that's not working on them, you still always have that view details. And if you think your data is out of date, always refresh it. You know, if you come back into it in a couple of days, definitely refresh because it's going to pick up all the new information from people working on it. Paths not registered yet, not started yet. So these are the 2 people that are registered but not in progress, and then you have the paths in progress. So they really break it down. You've got all paths, paths not registered, not started, and paths in progress. So it's really clear, and you still have the option of exporting to Excel for tracking purposes. Then it breaks it down further into path type, path delivery method. So you can see here that, and I'm going to assume that that's a 26. No, that's a 27. Because the next line's at 27.5. All 27 members that are active in Pathways for this club have chosen to go with online access. None of them went with manuals. So that would tell the VPE immediately that they don't have anybody that is going to be working out of printed manuals in Pathways in this club so far. The printed manuals work differently than the online access because the printed manuals will get different treatment, as in it's registered with their account that they're doing a printed manual, so that in Club Central, when you enter the award, it will show up as that path, but it's probably going to say manual next to it as opposed to online, because in my profile, it shows that I'm active in a path and it's online. Oh. Whoa, hey, there's a question. Okay, well, sorry, Janet. Yep, internet issues are, well, they happen everywhere. Happens to people, especially in Pathways. I think that's where most internet issues happen. Okay, so you can see 27, and you still have the details. My guess is it's going to show us that same sheet of, oh, well, it is pretty much a slightly different sheet. Everybody is listed here and all of their actives. How interesting. See, I haven't been into this one yet. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. So
How come you're in 3 times?
I show up 4 times here. What do we got? Presentation Mastery, Strategic. Pathways Mentor Program. Yep, because I did activate the Mentor Program, and Visionary Communication. So it shows the 3 paths that I've purchased, well, the 2 free and the 1 that I've purchased, as well as the mentor program that I started into when I completed level 2 of Presentation Mastery. And it appears that I am the only one that is currently working in the mentor program too. Yeah. So it gives you a breakdown, active, user count, online status, and a really long line, 27. Yep. Cool. Now, I'm analytical. I love data. So this is like Christmas for me. All these numbers and possibilities of downloading spreadsheets. Whew, this is a good day. Okay, recently selected paths. This is, as the title says, the ones that have been most recently selected. And I'm wondering what they are in the past month. So that just gives you a breakdown of who selected what paths in the last month. This hopefully will line up with your new members. So if you have a new member that doesn't have a path selection, you might get with them, especially considering new members to the club can only do pathways. So if they haven't started into a path, oh yeah, and there I am again because I just started visionary communication a couple weeks ago. Boy, I keep popping up all over the place in here. You'd think I was in this pathways thing a lot. Golly, I should get a social life. And then external training. Here's a new one. I don't know what external training is. Status of external training requests. Oh, so these are obviously, well, let's try a refresh. I don't think there's going to be anything showing up here because even though I'm doing speeches externally and outside of the club, I don't recall ever doing an external training request because frankly, I don't know what they are. Has anybody heard of an external training request?
I think that could be that might come later when you have a lot of
Yeah, I know you're supposed to, whenever you do a speech outside of the club, you're supposed to get permission from your VPE, but I never knew that there was an actual request form. Donna, have you seen this request form or heard of it?
I can only assume what I think it is. I joined this session tonight so I could learn how to be a Basecamp manager. Thank you very much. But having read some of the Pathways Guides training materials, I think it is that request to do a presentation outside the club setting. It's one way to track it.
Cool. Well, we're going to be tracking that down. I'm going to find that lovely little resource because I've never heard. Let's go to tutorials and resources, see if we can find. There we go. All right. Well, let's just use the search bar. External training request and see what comes up. Responding to external training completion requests. Tutorial. These are all responded, but none of them are forms. So is there a form attached? Let's launch this and find out. Because maybe the form is inside of the request or inside of the, once a member has, it takes us to, it's a PDF explanation. Ooh. Your details about the request, training details, decide if it met the, can approve or deny. Yes, okay, that's the process to approve or deny. Huh, that has external training requests, but it's the same process as with anything else. So I don't know where that form would live. Maybe it's within, could be. Okay, so how do we get back to, apparently, Pathways start page? Is that how we, okay, there's the link. So now we're back to the regular Pathways. So I'm gonna go in as him, as a member, to see if we can find an external, because maybe it's accessible to members inside of Pathways. Pressing enter, and we're seeing the same thing. Tutorial for quick reference guide. Scheduling a speech. Tutorial for quick reference. Well, maybe it'll tell us how. Okay, when you'll use the external training feature. Ooh, external training feature is under the options. Ooh, gotta find it. Okay, so we're gonna go into his innovative planning. Oh, wrong one. I hit the wrong button. That's the back window. I don't want the back window. I want to open curriculum. That's when you click on the name, the link itself, it shows you the backdoor stuff. Ugh, it's ugly. Don't do it. Okay, so up here in options, no, it says view training details. Okay, let's grab that window again. It says navigate to your educational transcript, select the options drop-down menu, and select add external training requests. So I must have to be in transcript proper. There it is. Add external training. Ooh, this is new. Complete an assignment outside of your club. Oh, this is good. I'm gonna fill one of these out and give it and send it into my VPE so we can go, what is this? Cool. Now I know where it is. I'm gonna use it. Yeah. Okay, so technically, if you do an external speech or something outside of your club, there is, in fact, a form that you can fill out to receive permission to do a speech externally. I knew this all along. I was simply testing you all. Right here under the options, add external training. So that takes you to your form. Cool. Well, now I know. Now I know how. And then that will show up if we do. Oh, yeah, that would show up, wouldn't it? That'll show up nicely on that other page. Okay, cool. Now that I'm done having fun
James,
discovering something new.
How does it show up on your evaluation?
Okay, well how about we try that out?
How does it show up on your evaluation?
All right, so I am going to go all the way back to the start page because I don't want to do it inside of his login because he's going to go, what is someone doing? So now I'm, okay, everybody hide your eyes. Okay, they're good. We'll switch to a different login. We're going into Pathways, into my Basecamp, into, make sure, yep, I'm in the right club. Educational transcript, and let's see, it's right up here. Add external training. Dun, 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 dun. English brief assignment description of your transcript. Okay, how about doing project 2 in visionary communication? I think that's what it's called. Describe your plan for completing this assignment. It's very detailed. I'll get back to you. And specify who you will present this work with. So this is probably the other, finish the assignment. Okay, so this is giving a speech, not necessarily in another club, but giving the speech or presentation outside of Toastmasters completely, because you can get credit for doing that if you have another Toastmaster member there who can give you an evaluation. So that's what this is for, as if giving a presentation, for example, that I did last year to the GED Symposium. This would be that kind of thing. Get evaluated performing an external speech. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's see. Specify who you will work with. For now, we're going to work with John Doe. Indicate the start and completion times. We're just going to say today, and we're going to end it today. We're going to select the path because we're going to say that I'm working visionary. The project is, now I got to remember. Let's just use project number 2, which is evaluation and feedback. Planned location for your event is, oh, looky, in a club other than my home club. Nice. And you can add attachments. Oh, cool. Okay, so submit. We have just now submitted an external, my first ever external training request electronically. Of course, I've done requests all the time. I mean, it's what you're supposed to do. Okay, now let's go back to the homepage. And somewhere in here, there we go. Toastmasters start page. I am going to log out. And oops, then I'm going to log in. I should change my hat, but I don't have any other hats nearby, so we'll just switch over here to put VPE now. Then Pathways, Basecamp Manager, and now member progress, external training. Let's refresh that. And we hum the Jeopardy tune briefly. Add to answer. I think it was, oops, where's my chat? Who was that? Larry. Get evaluated after performing external speech. What I've done in the past when I've given presentations outside of Toastmasters completely and there's been a Toastmaster there, I simply hand them the evaluation form, and then after I've given the presentation, I ask them to fill it out and have them return it to me. So that's how I've handled getting the evaluations in that regard. And it's important that you have a Toastmasters member with you because you kind of need someone to give you that evaluation to fulfill that external training, somebody from Toastmasters. So this is taking a long time to refresh. So maybe the intertubes are clogged right now. No, it came up with nothing. Interesting. Well, it may take longer than instantaneous, so I will check back on that to see if it pops up here because I don't see any other place that it would show up. That's something new. Yeah, cool. All right. Well, are there any questions on what we've covered so far? Okay. Now, we are at 7:45, and I want to switch over to a question that Mary gave me earlier to make sure I answer that. That question had to deal with evaluations and uploading of evaluations. I am going to leave the Basecamp Manager set up here for this member. So I am once again logging out. We didn't have that. And then re-entering as myself, as I am wont to be, as in wants, James. Anyway, Pathways, Basecamp, and logging you as a member. Okay, the question as Mary posed it, what do you do with the evaluations once you have received them on a project? The short answer is nothing, and the long answer is at a certain point, early when Pathways rolled out, it was thought by many, including myself, that you would want to upload your evaluation back to Pathways so that your VPE could verify that you did the speech, especially if you gave a speech outside of the club. It turns out that that information is completely false. The VPE has no access to see any of the documents inside of your own ePortfolio. And when I talk about ePortfolio, I'll show you real quick. I clicked on, whoops, probably did that a little too fast. What I did was I clicked on the My Feedback button, which takes me to the feedback bar where I can get to ePortfolio. ePortfolio is nothing more than a cloud storage option within Pathways. You can see here I have 11 documents. Early on, I was uploading into my level 1 folder all of the evaluations that I had done, that I had received for all of my projects. We look at the icebreaker evaluation. I can click on that. It will open it. This was an icebreaker given to me by a member of the club who wrote the form. I brought it home, typed everything into this PDF, and then saved and uploaded this PDF to my Pathways account. And that's not the page I wanted. Okay, back. So that evaluation is living right here. It turns out there was really no reason to do that. There is no, how should we put it? There is no requirement that any member upload an evaluation to Pathways. Once the evaluation is given in a club, the member can do whatever they would like with that. Keep it in a folder. They can upload it digitally. They can store it wherever they want. So the answer to the whole conundrum about what you do with evaluations, pretty much the same as we've done in the legacy program. Once you receive your written evaluation or your electronic evaluation from a member of your club, you can do with that whatever you would like to do with that. Hopefully that answers your question, Mary.
Yes, it does. I get the members, I guess one of their questions is, why can't they wanted the ability to fill out someone's evaluation, whether they do it right there or afterwards, and be able to upload it for that member if that member wanted it, but there isn't any way to do that.
Well, there is a way.
Yeah.
Kind of convoluted, and I will show you how. Well, you've got multiple ways of getting an evaluation to a member. Number one, you handwrite it and you hand it to them in the meeting. Number two, you download the interactive PDF, you type out the evaluation in the meeting, and you email them the PDF to their email account. The third way is, in fact, within the feedback bar inside of Pathways. It's kind of interesting. We'll see here. What you have to do is, let's say, for example, that I just gave an evaluation. I evaluated one of my club members. I go to the search bar and type in that club member's name until that person pops up, and for this example, I'm using Gabrielle. Then I click on her profile. This will bring up her profile listing with any information that she's put in there. Then I want to go to the feedback tab. Once I'm in the feedback tab, I can share feedback and attach files. And you can see that I've already done this before. I posted her evaluation right here, back when we were trying to figure out how this whole system worked out, is that I typed it in, I clicked the include, went to my computer where my PDF was stored, attached it to this, and now this evaluation is attached to her feedback. She can open this evaluation, look at it, she can download it to her computer, and then she can upload it if she wishes back into her Eportfolio. There is no way for her to take this evaluation right now and move it to the Eportfolio. The only option that she ends up is view or delete. So this is a third way of getting an evaluation to a member inside of Pathways. Now, I can't really say that this is any better than emailing it to them or handing them the written copy, but it is an option. Cool. Any questions on that? Okay, and for bonus material, I'm going to show you where all the evaluations live, because that's one of my favorite subjects. Is this fifth blue button is all of the speech evaluations. If you're doing an evaluation for somebody and you think maybe they're going to forget their evaluation because maybe they've got a history of forgetting to bring an evaluation, you yourself can come in here, select the project that you know you'll be doing an evaluation for. For example, let's say creating a podcast. We'll just click on that one. This opens an instance of this evaluation in your educational profile, and it's just the evaluation, not the full project, which you can then launch. It will open in a pop-up window and give you a PDF of that evaluation. This PDF is not is not editable. I can't type into this PDF because it's online. If I want to be able to type into it, or well, I can print it from here, but if I wanted to type into it, I would need to download it to my computer. I hit that little download button and then open it with Adobe Acrobat or an Acrobat Reader, for example. Once that opens, then I now have, wow, I have a really big evaluation staring me in the face. Okay, there we go, back out. At this point, once I get the blue boxes, I can type in these directly and then save the document however I want. Or I can simply print out a blank document, take it with me to the club, and fill it out by pen. I've done actually all of the above. I've taken it in, filled it out by hand. I've also taken my tablet in to fill out an evaluation using that. I found that a bit cumbersome, not as user-friendly as I wanted it to be, because I felt like I was paying attention to the screen as opposed to writing. Anyway, it's just how I was more comfortable, is just by writing things. And then later on, I can come back and fill this in if I so desire. And I'm not going to save it because I don't want to save it. So that is where all the evaluations live, which is under that 5th button. And if you are the Sergeant of Arms in your club, I highly encourage you to get familiar with this very bottom one, generic evaluation resource. Every single evaluation has the same format within Pathways. It's the 3 questions, the 3 areas of feedback you excelled at, what you might want to work on, and to challenge yourself, and then a list of numbers and rankings on the 2nd page. The generic evaluation resource is simply that. It's the generic version of those evaluations, but without specific project-related verbiage at the top. So this can be used for absolutely any project. You simply write it in. I highly encourage any Sergeant of Arms to print out multiple copies of this and just to have in the materials that you have at your club meeting, so that if somebody forgets an evaluation, you can simply hand them one of these and they're good to go. Because it's got, excel at, work on, challenge. You've got all the numbers on the back, which are similar to these others. There are a few projects that have additional numbers. This is true. Not every single one of them has all of the same subjects that they cover. But 90% of them are going to be exactly the same as the generic resource. Highly encourage using that generic resource. Cool. Okay. We have 5 minutes left. You got any questions?
No questions, James, but thank you so much for putting this series together.
Yeah, like I said, I'm having fun with this. Ooh. Hey, look, it's the external training request. So this is what it looks like inside of your own educational transcript. There's a new icon. I haven't seen this one before. It looks like a little map with a pointer on it, doing Project 2 in Visionary Communication, which is the title that I gave to it. Very interesting. View training details. So once I do log that, it's got everything that I put in there. There's John Doe, detailed. I'll get back to you. And it's pending approval, which we know because it wasn't listed. Let's see, is there anything below that? Pending from manager, we already know. Transcript history of when it was created, modified, has not been modified, except that's just the information that I put in there. Okay, cool. Well, good. That gives me something else to play with there. A new icon. I love new icons. Titles and types. Yep, see, there's external training. And that wasn't there before. So now that I have an external training, that sort option has shown up. It used to just be curriculum material and online classes. Neat. Cool. All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here. If there are, I'm still open. Any final questions? Anybody has anything? No? Cool. You are more than welcome to shoot me questions during the week if you have them. I'm ready and willing to answer. If you have anybody who's having trouble, don't hesitate to connect them with me. I'd be happy to answer any and all questions. Yes, probably. The question is, under the impression that the speaker is responsible for submitting an evaluation. Well, the speaker is responsible for their evaluation, yes. As far as submitting them, I'm not quite sure what you mean by submitting. Submitting where? Submitting the evaluation. Submitting it to the VPE? Well, I mean, once you receive an evaluation, project is clear. I'm not quite sure on that one, Larry. I'm not quite sure what you're referring to. But, okay. We have essentially 2 minutes left. If there is nothing further, then I shall release you back into the wild to go back to your lives. Speaker is responsible for submitting the eval. All of the above. Well, yes, absolutely. You're totally right, Larry. The speaker is responsible for submitting the evaluation, getting all of the information. They are the one. The aegis of work is always on the speaker. Of course, it's nice if the evaluator is prepared to, especially if you know the speaker is a bit of a forgetful. It's nice to support your club members. I know a few people like that. In fact, I am one of those people that other people.
one of those.
So, all right. Well, thank you all for being. Oh, wait. The final plug. The conference here. Oh, it's backwards. All right. Here, I'll turn it around so you can read it through the. No, that doesn't work either. The presentation, the Spring Conference, May 4th and 5th, Kroc Center in Salem. Motivational speaker and comedian. We need that. We definitely need that in this day and age. A comedian. Kelly Swanson? Yeah, Kelly Swanson will be there, which is going to be cool. I'm looking forward to that. I've been reading her articles and watching her online because I wrote an article in this recent Voices about her, which was really cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing her present her material in person. As well as we have Jim Coley, the international director, Toastmasters, which would be kind of cool. He came and visited us, I think it was 2 years ago, when we were down in Eugene. I seem to remember him down there, or that was a very lucid dream, one of the two. I'm not sure which. So please sign up for anything and everything related to Toast. Anyway, thank you all for being here and putting up with me. I am going to go track my cat down because she ran out of the room. She usually does when I start these. She doesn't like me yelling at nobody in particular. Okay. Thank you all. And let's see. I'm going to stop the recording.